Let's read 2 Chronicles 23. And in the 7th year, Jehoiada strengthened himself and made a covenant with the commanders of hundreds, Azariah son of Jehoram, and Yishmael son of Johanan, and Azayahu son of Obed, and Azayahu son of Adayahu, and Elishaphat son of Zichri. And they went about through Yehudah, and gathered the Levites from all the cities of Yehudah, and the chiefs of the fathers of Yisrael, and they came to Jerusalem. And all the assembly made a covenant with the sovereign in the house of Elohim, and he said to them, See, the son of the sovereign is to reign, as Jehovah has said of the sons of David. This is what you do. 1/3 of you entering on the Sabbath, of the priests and the Levites, gatekeepers of the thresholds, and 1/3 are at the sovereign's house, and 1/3 at the gate of the foundation, while all the people are in the courtyards of the house of Jehovah. And let no one come into the house of Jehovah except the priests, and those of the Levites who serve, they go in, for they are set apart, but all the people are to guard the charge of Jehovah. And the Levites shall surround the sovereign on all sides, every man with his weapon in his hand. And whoever comes into the house, let him be put to death, and be with the sovereign when he comes in and when he goes out. And the Levites and all Yehudah did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded, and each man took his men who were to come in on the Sabbath with those going out on the Sabbath, for Jehoiada the priest did not dismiss the divisions. And Jehoiada the priest gave to the commanders of hundreds the spears and the large and small shields which had been sovereign David's, that were in the house of Elohim. And he set all the people, every man with his weapon in his hand, from the right side of the house to the left side of the house, along by the slaughter place and by the house, all around the sovereign. And they brought out the son of the sovereign, and put on him the diadem and the witness, and set him up to reign. Then Jehoiada and his sons anointed him, and said, Let the sovereign live. And Athaliah heard the noise of the people running and praising the sovereign, and she came to the people in the house of Jehovah, and looked and saw the sovereign standing by his column at the entrance. And the chiefs and the trumpets were beside the sovereign, and all the people of the land rejoicing and blowing trumpets, also the singers with instruments of song, and those who led in praise. Then Athaliah tore her garments and said, Treason, treason. And Jehoiada the priest brought out the commanders of hundreds, who were set over the army, and said to them, Take her outside the ranks, and slay with the sword whoever follows her. For the priest said, Do not kill her in the house of Jehovah. For they laid hands on her, and she went by the way of the entrance of the horse gate into the sovereign's house, and they put her to death there. Jehoiada, they made a covenant between himself and the people and the sovereign, to be the people of Jehovah. And all the people went to the house of Baal and broke it down. They completely broke up its slaughter places and images, and killed Matan the priest of Baal before the slaughter places. And Jehoiada put the officers of the house of Jehovah into the hand of the priests, the Levites, whom David had assigned in the house of Jehovah, to offer the ascending offering, as it is written in the Torah of Moshe, with rejoicing with the singing by the hands of David. And he set the gatekeepers at the gates of the house of Jehovah, so that no one who was in any way unclean should enter. And he took the commanders of hundreds, and the nobles, and the governors of the people, and all the people of the land, and brought the sovereign down from the house of Jehovah. And they went through the upper gate to the sovereign's house, and set the sovereign on the throne of the reign. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city had rest, and they had slain Athaliah with the sword. Joash was 7 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. And the name of his mother was Zibiah of Beersheba. And Joash did what was right in the eyes of Jehovah all the days of Jehoiada the priest. And Jehoiada took for him 2 wives, and he brought forth sons and daughters. And after this it came to be that Joash set his heart on restoring the house of Jehovah. And he gathered the priests and the Levites, and said to them, Go out to the cities of Yehudah, and gather from all Israel silver to repair the house of your Elohim from year to year, and see that you hurry the matter. But the Levites did not hurry it. And the sovereign called Jehoiada the chief, and said to him, Why have you not required the Levites to bring in from Yehudah and from Jerusalem the levy of Moshe, the servant of Jehovah, and of the assembly of Israel for the tent of witness? For the sons of Athaliah, that wrong woman, had broken into the house, that wrong woman had broken into the house of Elohim, and had also prepared all the set-apart vessels of the house of Jehovah to the Baals. So the sovereign commanded, and they made a chest, and set it outside at the gate of the house of Jehovah, and made it known to Yehudah in Jerusalem, to bring to Jehovah the levy that Moshe the servant of Elohim had imposed on Israel in the wilderness. And all the rulers and all the people rejoiced, and they brought in and put them into the chest to completion. And it came to be at that time, when the chest was brought to the sovereign's official by the hand of the Levites, and when they saw that there was much silver, that the sovereign scribe and the high priest officers came and emptied the chest, and took it and returned it to its place. So they did day by day, and gathered a large amount of silver. And the sovereign and Jehoiada gave it to those who did the work of the service of the house of Jehovah. And they hired stonemasons and carpenters to restore the house of Jehovah, and also those who worked in iron and bronze to repair the house of Jehovah. And the workmen labored, and the work of restoration progressed in their hands, and they established the house of Elohim to its proper form and strengthened it. And when they had finished, they brought the rest of the silver before the sovereign and Jehoiada, and they made utensils from it for the house of Jehovah, utensils for serving and offering, ladles and vessels of gold and silver. And they offered ascending offerings in the house of Jehovah continually all the days of Jehoiada. And Jehoiada was old and satisfied with days, and died 130 years old when he died. And they buried him in the city of David among the sovereigns, for he had done good in Israel, both towards Elohim and his house. And after the death of Jehoiada, the rulers of Yehudah came and bowed themselves to the sovereign, and the sovereign listened to them. And they forsook the house of Jehovah Elohim of their fathers, and served the Asherim and the idols. And wrath came upon Yehudah and Jerusalem because of their trespass. And he sent prophets to them to bring them back to Jehovah, and they witnessed against them, but they did not listen. Then the spirit of Elohim came upon Zechariah, son of Jehoiada the priest, who stood above the people, and said to them, Thus said Elohim, Why are you transgressing the commands of Jehovah, and do not prosper, because you have forsaken Jehovah? he has forsaken you." And they conspired against him, and at the command of the sovereign they stood with the stones in the courtyard of the house of Jehovah. Thus Joash the sovereign did not remember the loving commitment which Jehoiada his father had done to him, and killed his son. And as he died he said, "Jehovah does see and repay." And it came to be, at the turn of the year, that the army of Aram came up against him, and they came into Yehuda and Yerushalayim, and destroyed all the rulers of the people from among the people, and sent all their spoil to the sovereign of Damasek. For the army of Aram came with few men, but Jehovah gave a very great army into the hand, because they had forsaken Jehovah, Elohim of their fathers. So they executed judgment against Joash. And when they had withdrawn from him, for they left him very sick, his own servant conspired against him because of the blood of the sons of Jehoiada the priest, and killed him on his bed, and he died. And they buried him in the city of David, but they did not bury him in the burial site of the sovereigns. And these are the ones who conspired against him: Zabad the son of Shemath the Ammonites, and Jehozabad the son of Shemrith the Moabites. As to his sons and the many words about him, and the rebuilding of the house of Elohim, see, they are written in the commentary of the book of the sovereigns. And Amatziahu his son reigned in his place.